Hey brand builders, I'm your host Gigi, CEO and founder of the EyeRmbr Planner. And today we are taking a walk through the entrepreneurial jungle with CEO and founder Reginé Bumper of EyeRmbr. And I'm telling you right now, you are not going to want to miss this because as usual, we are letting our guards down, serving truth up, and standing on business, the good, the bad, and of course the better. And we are going to be talking about building a business through adversity. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey brand builders, it's your girl Gigi. We're back again and I am here with the beautiful Miss Reginé Bumper, of CEO and founder of EyeRmbr. Hey Reginé. Let's give Reginé a warm round of applause. Now, Reginé, before we jump into today's topic, which is going to be very important, I think, and it's really going to speak to just the triumphs and the challenges that we face in life, I want us to play a game. Okay, because I know you, your followers know you, but the podcasting streets are full of strangers.
Absolutely.
Hi, strangers. No stranger danger here, okay? So we're going to play a game called 30 Under 30.
Okay, let's do
All right? You're going to have 30 seconds to answer up to 30 questions, and this is the kicker, okay? The guest at the end of the season who answers the most questions gets a special prize from the Vendmae crew.
Oh, I will win. All
Okay,
right, let's go.
yes. Now, I think the number one, where are we now? 11, 10? I think 10 or 11 is like where we are now. I think you can beat that.
50%. That's the goal.
Okay.
Least,
Oh,
right?
she want 15, y'all. Okay, let's get ready. Okay. Are you ready, guys? Count me down. Here we go. All right. Hometown.
Burlington, North Carolina.
Favorite teacher.
Miss Lexo.
City or beach.
Beach.
Hidden talent.
Can I pass? This is like
Okay, yeah, sure. Favorite movie.
Okay, Save the Last Dance.
Pop or country.
Oh, pop.
Middle name.
Denise.
Square root of pi.
Too much.
Chocolate or
Vanilla.
vanilla? Birth order.
Birth order. April 24th.
No, where do you fall in like if you have siblings?
Oh, number one, only one.
Only, yeah, number one and only. Favorite song.
Dang it, that was doggone.
How many we have, y'all?
Probably like 8.
Okay, you know what?
Dang,
It's okay.
I didn't win.
No, we don't know for sure. We gotta round them all up. We gotta see. You did a great job. So now we know a little bit more about you, Reginé, okay? Now we're gonna take it a step further. All right? So we know the name of the brand, EyeRmbr. I want you to tell us when you knew that you were going to take a walk through the entrepreneurial jungle and begin your company. So tell us a bit about you, who you are, and your brand story.
Absolutely. So again, I am Reginé Bumper, CEO and founder of EyeRmbr. And EyeRmbr is a wellness company enriching the mind, body, and spirit through our high quality herbal teas, tinctures, and plant medicine education. Now, truth be told, I started this entrepreneurial walk when I was about first or second grade.
Oh, okay.
I still, this is no cap.
Vet.
No, for real. At the time, y'all remember like GIMP when people
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yes, so I started a GIMP company. I
Okay,
did.
what was it called?
Reginé Bumper. I had T-shirts.
Reginé Bumper LLC.
Yeah, I did.
LLC.
I had T-shirts made. and
Really?
yes.
Okay.
This is for real. And one of my best friends at the time, she. I asked her, I was like, yeah, you want to come work for me? And she was like, yeah. And this is for I typed up, I had my mama type it up because I couldn't spell. But she typed up a little contract. I knew what I wanted to say. It was about a quarter of a sheet.
Oh, wow.
I had blank spots for her to sign her name. I told her how much she was going to get paid per keychain she sold. This
Come
is
on,
so for real.
keychain. Come on, employer.
She signed it, okay?
Really?
Shout out Nia. She signed it. And I was like, okay, bet. Not too much really came out of it. I was only selling for 25 cents, respectfully.
That's okay.
Not in this economy. I wouldn't have done that. But all that to say, so I've been in the spirit of it for quite some time. But when I got serious about it, it was 2020, February. And so this was like a month before COVID had started.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's really when it became official, became an LLC. And the wellness part has been beautiful because throughout my life, wellness has been an important part of my family and everything. And so being able to take the plant medicine and not only create it for other folks, but to teach them so that they can carry that intergenerationally, passing that healing on instead of trauma and dis-ease that we're so accustomed and used to, really brings me a lot of joy. So that's EyeRmbr in short.
I love it. So listen, Regine's been handing out W-2 since she was 8. Okay?
Under the table.
Under the table. So Nia, wherever you are, I hope you filed your tax return, girl. I know you were only 7, but still, Uncle Sam will come for you. So that's amazing. So the spirit of entrepreneurship has been within you, we'll just say from jump.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. So I want to jump right in because I know you're holding back, okay? I want to jump right into our topic because I know a lot of entrepreneurs have a desire to enter into business in some way, and they may not know where to begin. And I do believe that when it's part of your purpose and part of what you've been called to do, you look at your life and the experiences around you, right? And I mean, I'm not going to talk too much, but I'm just going to say your story literally speaks directly to that. So tell us how you even came to the realization that EyeRmbr needed to happen.
Ooh. So, if truth be told, when I began EyeRmbr, it started with my book, EyeRmbr The Paths Walk. And I had traveled 4 countries in a year, Uganda, Rwanda, Haiti, and Thailand. And I learned so much about myself, right? Yeah. So that was February 2020, right, when I officially released it and everything. But later on that year, September of 2020, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it was during that journey, the start of it, in September 2020, that I knew, okay, my intention that I had originally for EyeRmbr may not be in alignment. You need to figure this out. And so I did go through chemotherapy. I went through radiation, September 2020, all the way through February of 2021. Yep. And towards the end, I had like less than a week left of radiation appointments. And my cousin from Norfolk, Hampton, Virginia, called me and she was like, yeah, you really need to get in contact with Alcatrician. And I was like, okay, bet. Tell me, like, I'm up free game. Right. Tell me, put me on. And so we ended up connecting, and shout out Atum Dre. He used to cook and work with Dr. Sebi. And yeah, I was like, okay, I know this guy, like, knows what he's talking about. And at that point where I was mentally, when it came to, like, the medical field, was like, I strongly dislike, try not to say the word hate, but I strongly dislike big pharma. I don't want no medicine. I don't want, if I can't pronounce it, I don't want it. And so when I spoke with him, we spoke for a couple of times, but he put me through an intense 3-month cellular detoxification, herbs, capsules, teas, and that really was what sparked the plant medicine rabbit hole, if you will.
Okay. Now, Regine, you're going too fast. We got to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it was too good, so I couldn't stop you. But I really want to really jump all the way in. So let's back up. So in September 2020, right, when you were diagnosed, what were you feeling? Like, were you feeling like you didn't feel comfortable? You just felt sick constantly? Like, what was going on that you decided, I need to go to the doctor and figure out what's happening?
Oh, LOL to that story. So, so it was about a year and a half.
Okay.
Fall of 2018 is my senior year of college. I started to have knee trouble, knee pain. And I was like, well, maybe I'm exercising too much.
Okay.
Because in high school, I tore my meniscus in my right knee. And so I was like, it kind of feels like that. Okay. But, I'm going to just kind of rock it out. So 2018 falls into 2019. And it gets worse in my left knee, and it was just like one day I woke up, I couldn't walk, couldn't put no,
pressure on it?
Yeah, nothing. It would just swell up randomly. It would just be hot, red, and I'm like, there was no direct blow to my knee, didn't fall on it. I'm like, what is going on? And so I ended up getting a whole bunch of MRIs.
Okay,
and that's when I was like, okay. My primary doctor at the time was like, we can go through with seeing if it is a meniscal tear too. Okay. So MRIs, I went to the same doctor, orthopedic doctor that I went to back when I was in high school. Years concealed.
Right. Ain't nobody's business.
It's
You know
not.
what I'm saying?
It's not. So I went
Forever 21.
Yeah.
It's not just a store. Okay.
Look at that.
It's
That's
every
good.
woman's age.
That was good. That was
Thank
good.
you.
Clock that.
Free bar.
So I went to the same orthopedic doctor, and he looked at my MRI, and in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is about to be smooth. It's about to be, all right, I know what's about to happen. He looks at my scans, and he was like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but we're not going to, fix, move, touch anything until you go get that checked out. So he said, I'm referring you to my friends, so we can check it out. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get to the car, and the card read Virginia Cancer Specialist. I said, cancer? Them are your friends.
Wait, why are we talking about this?
I said, I should have asked what kind of friends, but, I just went along with it. I did. And so I kind of didn't freak out all the way right then and there. I remember sitting in my car still after that appointment, and I was just like, whew, I don't know how to tell my mom. I don't know how I'm going to tell, the family, my parents. I don't really know. But we're just going to keep a level head. Okay. But the day that I actually did get diagnosed, so let me back up before that. I don't even remember the month that I first initiated at the Virginia Cancer Specialist, but I do know it was about a year. Okay. We did 4 biopsies. So we did 2 open ones and 2 closed ones. So the closed biopsy is when they just take the needle, they stick it in the area, and they, scoop out. Tissue. Yep. Okay. And that's it. You kind of, local light anesthesia. Okay. But the open biopsy, you go under, they cut you open, they scoop a bigger portion out, go in for, examination. So I did 2 of each, and then the last one, which was July, I think it was, of 2020, was when they were like, okay, we have a definitive of what actually is going on, and it is non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when they actually told me the diagnosis in 2020 of September, I remember it was my mom. She was there in the office with me, and I was just kind of numb. And my doctor was just trying to ease, make me comfort, make me feel a little bit better. You're just not and I couldn't. There. It was like Charlie Brown, wah. And I love my oncologist. I do. She's great. But I was like, I can't hear nothing she's saying. I don't know what she's talking about. But when I got to the car, I do remember I did physically break down. And when I got home, it was a silent ride. I don't really know. What do you say? Mom is like, well, I don't really know how we can make this situation better. Right. But I do remember when I got home and I did go to my room, I had a conversation with myself, and I was like, okay, look, we can cry today. We can, be mad or whatever, insert emotion. But after today, maybe even half of tomorrow. Right. Sometimes it takes a little bit of 48 hours. Respectfully. Maybe 36. Respectfully. We might need a little bit more time. But I said, but bottom line was after tomorrow, close the business, we can't do this every day. We finna fight. We got to figure it out. Right. And so after that, 36 hours after the diagnosis, I was like, okay, bet, boom. What's the first plan of action that we need to do? And they already told me I had to do chemotherapy. My hair was going to fall out. And so I was like, okay, cool. What I can control in this is not seeing chunks of my hair fall out because that's traumatizing. So I decided to dye my hair blonde. And I was like, I'm going to gradually, cut it into styles I've always wanted to because it's going to fall out anyway. So let me just see what's going on here. Respectfully, it's going to come out anyway. She's like, let's just have a good time. Facts. And so that was one of my main ways of having control over a situation that I feel a lot of people feel like they don't have control over. Right. But in every situation, you do have some control, whether it be 1% or, 100. I just knew I had to hold on to things. What you could. Yeah, and try forward.
I think that there's so many lessons in that. Number one, the fact that you took your health into your own hands, right? Sometimes we think little things are not a big deal. Yeah. Oh, this feels like this feels like that. And we don't take the time because we're so busy. We live in a place that doesn't give you time to even breathe, honestly. Yeah. You go from work to school to functions, whatever it is, and you don't take time to make sure that you're okay. So that's one, I think. All of our brand builders out there, you can't build no brand you're not here, friend. So please make sure, you know what I mean? Seriously, make sure you're taking the time out to assess yourself, make your appointments, go to your doctors, get a good medical team. It's important, right? And then
Another thing that I think is so important, even with all of this, the one thing you said was what I could control, I would, right? And even now, I think I highly doubt you've changed. I've known you for a few years between now and then, but your spirit and your tenacity to remain positive, I think is really, really beautiful. And I think everybody can probably feel it through the screen. But that takes you so far in so many different places you don't know. It affects your health.
Yes, it does.
It really does.
It does. And I don't think a lot of people really realize, like, if you go to the doctor or any situation, interview or something like that, and you mentally have already told yourself, I'm going to fail, or it is going to be said diagnoses,
right.
It's like, it will happen. But if you tell yourself, I'm fine, I'm healthy, or I'm going to knock this out the park,
right.
etc. And even if you do end up bombing it, or you didn't get the job, or it does end up being a diagnosis that the outcome you don't want, but still, you're feeding yourself that positive energy. Your cells can hear the things that you say, that we say to ourselves.
Words and life and death is
yes,
the power of what
it
you
really
say.
is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back when I was going through chemotherapy, the very first time I had a treatment, it was COVID too, y'all. So couldn't nobody be back
you're
there.
By yourself.
Yes. And so I remember they hooked me up to everything, had the port, and I don't even know what was in my concoction at the time, but they were doing it in increments. And whatever this medicine was, I was having an allergic reaction to it.
Wow.
And respectfully, there's a lot going on back there. And I was like, okay, where's the nurse? I need somebody because my throat is...
Oh no!
Yeah, I said
I need to be able to breathe, guys.
Yeah, I said somebody come back here. But the pre-cancerous me would have kind of just sat idle a little bit until someone came. But then me at the time, I was like, no, ain't nobody finna come save me. I gotta get up and so I dragged my little cart. I said, excuse me, like something is going on here, and y'all need to fix it.
And that was my last point, advocating for yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Especially first of all, in any sphere of life, but especially when it comes to your health. Yeah. Because, you said that, you're like, listen, I talked to well, first of all, I can cry for today and tomorrow. I can give myself a 24, 36, 48 hours, cool. Yeah. But after that, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do to make sure that we attack this and have the best outcome possible?
Absolutely.
Not letting it happen to you, but you take action over top of it. So, girl, you said so much. No, but it's so important. And when I think of that, I think of your entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Yes.
Even though it was just a quarter, you saw a need in the community and you wanted to address it with your GIMP, all right? And that's what we do when we build a business. So we know kind of the arc. Take me through now the process of, as you were saying, going through chemotherapy, through your healing journey, and then how we landed here and how EyeRmbr has pivoted and blossomed.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, I did a 3-month cellular detoxification, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was my trial period to see, like, can plants really do what I'm seeing they say they can do, right? And so after I finished that, I was like, oh wow, like my vitals, my numbers were all up. Significantly, just 3 months after being, post-treatment. So I was like, oh yeah, these plants got some power
something
to it.
Green leaves.
Yeah.
Something's going on in there.
Facts. So I said, well, let me try to make a tea or, just put some herbs together for myself or on another situation. So I put together my very first blend, Good Sis, which was for menstrual cramps, heavy bleeding, things of that nature. And I drank that another 3 months, 3 times a day, and my cramps, my whole PMS went away. I was like, say less.
These plants again.
Yeah, I said, something is up here. So that's more so on the physical side, but the mental side, emotional side, I was becoming aware that my outlook on things were starting to change. I was positive before, but even more positive now. Just the perspective had widened, and I was like, that's only due to the plants, because what else have I been consuming that's different than before? And so the physical part, I noticed, the mental and emotional part. So then I said, well, I know I'm not the only one that has menstrual cramps, right? I know somebody else, another good sis out there, needs this. And so still sticking with, EyeRmb's mission has always been the same, to enrich the mind, body, and spirit, right? So I was like, well, maybe this is my new opportunity, my new pivot to enrich the mind, body, and spirit, but with the assistance of plants. And so that's really what opened up the door. Like I said, the first blend with Good Sis, and then I learned more about tinctures, and they're just high quality extracts of amounts of an herb, right? And so you take it underneath your tongue, or you can drop it in your water
and consume it.
consume it that way. So it's a faster way of engaging.
For it to hit you. Okay.
Yeah, of engaging with your plants. If you ain't got time to let it steep in, you know, all that
Right.
jazz.
And boil.
You're right.
Okay.
You got to go. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is an even quicker way people can get the benefits from the plants too, you know, without stopping their life, if you will, but also progressing their wellness at the same time. So that's essentially how I remember was like, oh, stop sign, hard right, keep going.
Right. I first of all, your story is amazing. And I'm so glad you were able to share it. I'm so glad, hopefully all of our brand builders are able to look at the events of their life, because some things we look at, it's like, oh my gosh, that's an L, right? Like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand, so forth and so on. But what are you being taught? What can you apply? And how is what you're going through, how is it able to really, in essence, like bless the lives of other people?
Yes.
And sometimes we don't realize that it's through your experiences, whether good or bad, that's where you're being led, right?
Absolutely.
And sometimes we listen, and sometimes we don't. We don't. But you know what else interests me as you were talking? Like, how did you get the knowledge? Like, did you, you know, was it through, I forgot his name, I'm sorry.
Atumdre.
Was it through like his tutelage, or was it just like your own personal research?
So initially, yes, he provided a lot. I'm talking about like basic chemistry. And I'm a chemistry gal.
Really?
Biology, physics, ugh, don't talk about it. But chemistry, I can pick it up. So he was like, yeah, acids and base and, you know, alkaline and this time.
Were you in the jungle somewhere, or you were local?
I was at my mama's house.
Okay, good. Okay.
I was at my mama's house.
Just
Local.
I was like,
Very
now
local.
where did y'all do this? Okay.
Very on the phone, very local. But after that, I was like, there's so much more I want to know. And so I then invested in myself. I first started off with books. Any book that I found that was, you know, plant medicine.
Drop the books. Let us know. Let's put it in the chat. We need to order the books.
Oh my goodness! So
if you remember.
Okay, I got a few. Okay. First one is Sacred Woman by Queen Afua.
Okay.
She's gonna drop a whole
book.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these books now, I will make a disclaimer, aside from Sacred Woman, were found on my grandmother's bookshelf.
That's amazing.
Yes. So like you said before, the things that happen, you know, to us, the things that really don't make sense, full circle, come right around.
Was she was very much into herbs and things of that nature too, or you're not sure?
My granny is into plants. Like she has a forest in her house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, but a lot of the books belong to my aunt. She was a nursing student, CNA. So I would open them and I'd be like, oh wow, this belongs to Mandy. That's crazy. So a lot of the books were hers. And so it's just like, wow, this knowledge has been here the whole time and I just didn't pay attention to it.
Wow.
You know, one that I'm reading right now is called Earth and Spirit. It's a Puerto Rican interview style book. A bunch of grannies and, you know, herbal gurus throughout the Puerto Rico, just dropping the knowledge. Very beautiful, easy to read too. Another one is Meditation as Medicine. That's a really good one. And, you know, Amazon running a sale right now, 50% off books. Yeah.
Okay, Amazon.
Pick that.
Because y'all need to put your tablets down.
Yeah, respectfully.
We're tired of the screens, guys. Open up a regular book.
Respectfully.
Printed.
Respectfully. Okay. But I started with books, right? So I didn't spend a whole lot of money on, you know, programs, things like that. But about, I would say like a year later, I invested. And
it's a new word, invested.
I invested into herbal medicine for the soul. It's by EyeRmbr. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they took me through the ins and outs, body systems, how the herbs affect the body. Oh, wow. You know, herbal actions, all that jazz.
Like a course.
Yes, it was 6 months, but it took me a little longer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, over 100 clinical hours. Group live sessions, you know, you can make them whenever you're able to. Very much a close, tight-knit community. It was beautiful. So that's where I learned the bulk of my, the knowledge that I know now. And still, I know that a lot of us are accustomed to, going to a formal program, institution, but nothing beats talking to an elder or someone who has experience.
I was just going to say, experience is the best teacher.
Yes, and I've taken a whole lot from just having conversations with people, even reading books, conversations, and picking up and extracting from there. So if you are interested in just really anything, but especially plant medicine, you don't have to drop that $2K. You don't got to drop it immediately. Do definitely eventually, or however much the money is, just open the book up.
And so on that note, for all of our brand builders, I want you to really pay attention. You need to make sure you are continuously educating yourself. Yeah. It doesn't need to be a huge financial commitment or investment initially, but like we were saying, books. I know everyone knows the phrase, if you want to hide it from somebody, put it in the book. That's a problem, okay? The information is there. The wealth of knowledge is there. If you're able to crack it open and our ABCs are still intact, you can read it and you can glean the knowledge, right? So I think that that's really, really important. Never stop learning. Okay, I just have to plug that, okay?
Yeah, no, for real.
Pick up a book, all right?
Tidbit.
Hey Aravistas, Gigi here. When I think about the journey of life, I think about all of the beautiful and amazing experiences that we share, as well as the challenges that shape us. Both can lead to a shift in our aspirations, planning, and perspective. In short, our experiences have the ability to mold and push us toward our purpose. And that, Aravistas, is our focus for the 2025 Renew collection. Renewal is about releasing past failures and disappointments while embracing a future filled with hope and possibilities. I am beyond excited to debut our 2025 Renew collection and take this journey with you as we renew our minds, bodies, and spirits. Are you ready? I know I am. Happy planning.
Now that we've gone through who you are, your brand story, how you were able to grow through this and really create EyeRmbr in a way that spoke to your experiences and how you want to impact those moving forward, we're now going to talk about a business, right? Mm-hmm. The purpose of it is to acquire customers, to continue to push your message forward, your mission, your vision. What has that looked like? Because I know in certain communities, namely ours, sometimes it's old knowledge, but I want to say it's been kind of erased over the past 50 years. So now it's like we're trying to come back into that. What does that look like in terms of building your client base?
Ooh. Well, the toughest clients have definitely been those connected to me in the DNA via blood. I received the most questions from them. But like you said, this knowledge is not new to us, right? We're really true to it. We just forgot it, right? We just need a refresher. And so I've noticed that primarily, I will say my clientele are Black and brown individuals, right? Specifically more so women. And when I talk to them, it's like, and initially, it was a lot of people who were not really familiar with plant medicine. And then now as I'm entering into year 3 or so, I'm encountering a lot of people who are familiar with it.
More familiar.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, like I use this for this and this and the third. So me trying to not necessarily persuade, because I don't believe that if I have to persuade you to do something,
then you're not for me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's above my pay grade. Respectfully, I ain't doing it. But going back to, like I said, my family, I love y'all. Going back to them, and I really took them. Initially, I was getting annoyed.
Okay.
And those, community members alike, I was getting annoyed because it was like, why y'all questioning me and what I'm saying, but y'all don't question
Big Pharma.
Right? Y'all don't question that, but y'all...
You just take whatever they give. You're not even sure. Right.
Clockwork, right? But you know what? I said, okay, look, they're not the only people out here that think this way or really have questions. And so that's one lesson or gift, you could say, that I took, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to simplify herbalism, plant medicine, in a way that it's more streamlined and it's just simplified as possible. And so I took that concept, and not only in trying to explain it to somebody else, but also in my blends, right? In my tinctures and anything like that. Keep it as simple as possible, because plant medicine and life are a reflection of each other, right? Life really is simple. We just
complicated.
Humans, we do that a lot.
Very much so.
And so let me just try to simplify it as much as possible. And so as I've, done more vending and things of that nature, I've come across some customers. I won't say not one customer is difficult. But,
let's save that for umbrella.
Okay. My fault.
We got to talk about that. That's coming next. Okay.
My bad. But simplifying it in a way so that people, I call them my community, right? Whoever I'm connected to, that people can understand it, whether they're green to it or they're an expert at it and they're constantly, reinventing themselves and increasing their knowledge of it.
I think that what you said is very important. We actually just talked about that on a previous episode, understanding your brand voice, like your value proposition, being able to communicate your why and what you're doing in a way that the customers are able to actually grasp.
Yeah.
So guys, sometimes it doesn't need to be super complicated.
No.
Take your time. Break it down. You want to be able to explain to a second grader, okay?
Facts.
Because Regine was an entrepreneur in second grade. So you want to be able to actually give that information to someone and see if they're able to grasp it. Because a lot of people, I feel like when it comes to a block with things like this, especially wellness, is because we've been programmed in a specific way for so long that like the antithesis of it is like, oh, that's weird, or oh, I don't know, we want to eat mushrooms all day. Weird stuff but this is actually where a lot of these things were derived. They're just now chemicalized. Is that even a word? I don't know. But now, they're now chemicals as opposed to what we were using 100 years ago. So I think that's really important. So all of our brand builders out there, sometimes it's important to simplify your message so it can be grasped, okay? But let's get into it, because you had started, Regine. Let's get into it. So we talked about, brand voice, simplification of messaging, and you talked about vending, which is why Vendmae exists, right? Our goal is to make sure that we're putting our customers, you're able to garner new customers through the experience of vending. Let's just talk about that for a second. How has vending been for you?
Initially when I started it, I was very nervous.
I think that's normal, yeah.
I was like, ooh, I don't know.
Can I do this?
I was like, ooh, I don't know if you're going to stick to it. I'm wasting my time. I don't know. Just go home now. But now it's actually one of the things that I enjoy doing because it allows me to connect with people, in face to face. It is a lot of work, preparing for it.
Oh, yes.
But the benefit, the fruit afterwards, is like you've interacted, even if nobody buys anything, you've just come in contact with so many beautiful souls or just curious wandering souls about plant medicine, and it's like that was the mission, that was the goal from jump. It's not about the money or anything. For me, it's not about the money or anything like that. So now I look forward to vending. I'm a bit more particular about it because initially, once I was like, okay, yeah, I got this, it was like, oh yeah, this event, I'm gonna go. Ain't nobody doing all that. Respectfully.
No. Because some places are not, they're just not conducive to the message that you're delivering.
No, they are not. And I've had a few that was like, I pulled up, I was like, oh,
gotta go. Not for me.
Respectfully. Always respectfully. But yeah, no, I really do love vending because in a lot of the connections, friendships that I've been able to establish and that have blossomed have been because of vending of some way, shape, or fashion. So I'm very appreciative of it.
I love it. And so we just can't wait for not only you, Regine, but for all of our brand builders to be able to go on Vendmae and be able to look. The whole point is for you to be able to curate the events that speak to your business that are going to be fruitful, right? I don't think people realize how much networking is done with other entrepreneurs. And really, like you're talking about, that customer connectivity piece is key for growing your business. So now, let's talk about it. So now we're growing a business, okay? You come in contact with customers every day. So our next segment is called Umbrella. And it's called Umbrella because we're bringing the shade, okay? Now, customer service is so importante.
Yes, it is.
Sí, es importante. It is. And the thing about it is, we all have brand voices. We have a mission and a vision, and a lot of those things, they always need to stay aligned. However, we do have those who come into contact with us maybe once or twice, maybe only one or two people.
That try.
Yeah, try is the right word. That can be the customer from HE double hockey sticks. Yeah. Talk to us about a time that you have encountered one or two customers who may not have been your cup of tea and how you kind of transitioned through that, but still remain true to your brand voice, who you are, and what EyeRmbr exudes.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, let me first make this disclaimer. I love all my customers.
Of course we do.
I have a special place right
All of
here.
you.
Right here. Sure. Now, there have been a few visitors. I can count on one hand, so it's not a lot. But I'll describe them, the outliers, as people who I think their mission was to simply just to challenge the information.
Oh my.
Yeah, so I have no problem, like, people come and go, vendor, they, take a little peek, and it's not a cup of tea, keep pushing.
yeah.
I appreciate y'all. But the people that come by to be like, oh, they'll ask like, well, what does this herb do, right? And I'll tell them, cool. And then that's the rabbit hole of just simply not only just questioning me because it's bigger than myself, right? Have to take my ego out of it. They're just questioning the validity of plant medicine. And customers like that, it's like, look, person, you can do your own research. I have no problem, sharing about that. But it's just like you coming over here not out of curiosity, pure curiosity. You're coming here to like diminish and tear down what I'm doing here.
Really?
Yeah. And like I said, I can count on one hand. Like
so
very, very seldom.
Why are you so odd?
If it's not your cup of tea, no pun intended, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like keep it pushing. I'm fine with that. And as
so they're like being combative with you?
Low key, it's a passive way though.
Oh.
Because I keep a little. She
just gives you the smile. you can't possibly be
just
that
smile
mad.
and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Right. Wow.
Just keep smiling. But yeah, so those customers, I'm like, all right, look. And I've gotten a little bit better. This is on a personal tip, but also a business tip, but just being more direct. So I've gotten a little bit better at saying, hey, I'll give them a resource. You could check this book or this page out, and, you can do more deep dive research yourself. You know what I mean? And get them out the way because I didn't see this person circle the block 3 times because that's how long you've been here questioning me about this.
See?
Respectfully.
That's redirect.
Yeah.
A direct redirect.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
still
I like that.
in a kind way.
Yeah.
So that's a great way. I have a resource for you. Maybe you can read it over there.
Yeah.
Right? Away from my table. I love it. So that's how you're able to kind of funnel those who are there to actually like get information versus those who are just there to be combative.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's a pro tip, a direct redirect in a kind way with a smile. Show us the smile.
You got it.
There you go. See? That'll get the job done. Yep. It'll get the job done every time. Awesome. Okay, good. So now we know how to handle that. Now we are going to talk about something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't often discuss.
Ooh.
Okay, and that's because, when you go on Instagram, it's always like a very well curated like feed, right? Like everything's going great. Nothing's wrong in my business. I'm fine.
That's cap.
But that's not always true. So our next segment is called In the Red, okay? Because it can be, sometimes in business, it can be feast or it can be famine.
Absolutely.
Okay? So tell us a time when it could be like a shipment didn't come in, it could be you were backed up or whatever, or it could be maybe a poor business decision that you made, a time when you were in the red.
Ooh, when I first started.
Oh, that's facts.
And it's like the excitement of, like, oh, I have my business and I'm just starting out. Poor business decision. I was just buying a bunch of herbs and I was buying them in bulk.
I have heard this, like buying everything because you're so excited.
Yes, and buying too much. I'm not talking about like 2 ounces, 4 ounces. No, I'm talking about a pound.
Oh, wow.
What you need a pound for, sis?
Right, you
don't need it.
Take it slow.
Take it out the cart.
Take it slow.
Take it out the cart.
But no.
Absolutely not. And not only was I buying so much, I didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Oh, wow.
Either.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just constantly buying because in my head, I'm like, someone's going to need this or I will need this in the future.
Right.
But I'm buying without a plan and, execution of how to actually utilize this resource. There has been another time where I actually had an event that I was invited to sponsor, and my shipment came malfunction, all jacked up. Oh, no. All jacked up. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pivot from this? Because I don't want to tell them, like, I can't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've already committed. So that's happened before. Granted, it didn't put me in the red, but I felt like when you say the red, I think a lot of people might think like financially, but I also thought that way. But initially when you ask the question, but also in the red as far as like negatively impacting a relationship with someone else.
No, that's facts.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, I don't want this to impede on our, business relationship.
Right.
So I ended up figuring out an alternative plan, right,
Okay.
to still be able to show up for them. But those two are like the biggest that I don't bang my head against the wall about it.
But you're like, daggone.
Facts. I'm
Yeah.
like, of all times, I've never had a malfunction. Why are you
Why
happening now? But definitely first starting out. I remember when I first filed my business taxes, my tax lady at the time, when I gave her, my profit and loss sheet, and she told me, she was like, oh, it's kind of normal for a lot of, startup businesses to be in the red for a couple
5 years is the average.
Okay. I said, oh.
I feel fine now. Everything's okay.
I said, oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. We're making great progress,
Right.
But I say all that to say, what year you might be on, year 1 through 5 or 15 plus, if you are in the red, it's okay. It's all right. But just don't stay there, though. You gotta get up, though. You gotta get up.
I heard a few things that are really important. First of all, for all of our burgeoning entrepreneurs who are looking to build their brand, you don't have to buy everything at once.
You don't.
It's okay to start slow and take steps before you can actually run.
Yeah.
I heard that. And we've heard that multiple times. Be careful, right, with that. I also heard an accounting practice. First of all, Regine had an accountant, and she had her P&L sheet. So keeping track of things is important as well, right?
It is.
From the very beginning. That was another thing I heard. And then the last thing I heard, let me make sure I get everything, was there was one more thing that I thought was really, really good. It slipped my mind, guys, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Oh, business relationships. That's what it was. Making sure, because as we're talking about in the red, right? Relationships and business are so important, right? They're so important, because what is a friendship now can turn to 10K later. Not that that's why you're keeping the friend, but you just never know like what opportunities arise from relationships. So making sure those are always in the black. Want to keep those together. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. I think that was really, really impactful. And now we're going to go into, you kind of touched on one that I think you may repeat, but I could be wrong. One segment where we focus on maybe extraneous circumstances or something that we have done that almost made us rethink all this altogether. We call it down bad. Like we were down bad. Like you might have said, you know what? This isn't for me anymore. I think I'm okay. Anything that can come to mind?
Well, being very transparent, when I first started up, first day on the job, and I had came to the realization that all these paperwork you had to file this and this, that, and a third. You got to pay this fee. And, every state is different. If you're in America watching this, so you got to, and every county might have some different rules too. So you got to find, make sure you're in good standings with them. So starting out at first, I was like, maybe this is not for me.
You make yourself on the side of the road.
Yeah. Maybe we could rethink this, right? And I did end up, I paid the service for company to set up my LLC. Now, mind you, you can do that. And this is kind of going back to the previous section. Did I have to spend that bread? I ain't had to, because ultimately it kind of was more simple than what I thought it would be. But that was probably the very first one, and I was like, I have no idea.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
It's really, really, when you want to do things properly.
Yeah, right. I was like, I have no idea. But as I was going through and diving deeper into my plant medicine practice, I came to a point where I was just like questioning myself. And I was like, because full transparency, like in America, there isn't like a certificate, right? You go to doctoral school, you go dentistry school, right? And you get some formal certificate, or right. But with plant medicine, that's not the case. Like, it's not really regulated. And so that's also the beautiful part about it, because it is a spiritual and it's an ancient practice. So you can't put something tangible on it. But as I was, this is probably like halfway through, it's about a year and a half ago. And I was, learning more, diving deeper. And I was just like, I don't really know if people will be receptive of this. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, what if they're not? Maybe this was only supposed to be for me. I'm not I'm not really sure. Should I make a U-turn here? Just turn around? Well, finish this course because it's already paid for.
Right.
All right, we're going to make use of this money. But I was just like, I don't really know. And at that time too was a lot of time when I was encountering a lot of people that were like questioning plant medicine.
Okay.
And I was starting to question the way that I was showing up on social media. And I'm just like, am I coming across like I really know my stuff because I really do? Or am I just, So I was just like, I don't really know if this was for me. But I am glad I stuck through it because I feel like a lot of us have a moment like that where we just question our are we supposed to be here? So definitely at the very start and then like towards the middle. That was when I was like, I don't know.
She was like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. And this is the thing. We may not know in the moment. We may not know in the beginning, the middle, and sometimes even close to the end, I guess.
That's true.
But we keep going. And so we're going to bring things full circle, which is our last segment, right? So even though we've had these challenges, and even though, you're looking at your purpose, looking at why you were created, looking at your experiences, and you were able to birth this beautiful wellness business through this, what is it that keeps you going, even when things are looking kind of crazy?
Oh, well, one of the things, the foundational things is that, like I said before, plant medicine for me is very spiritual, right? Aside from, the physical effects that it has. But my great-grandmother, who is not here earthside anymore, she's ascended, she actually had lymphoma herself. And she and I never met. She was born way before I was born. She ascended way before I was born.
I mean, you're only 21, so of course she did.
Ooh, tongue-tied. So I didn't find that correlation to be ironic. And I was like, okay, there's something there. And truth be told, I've always felt some sort of, some would say weird, because we never physically met, connection to her. Like I look at her photos at my aunt's house and I'm just like, something about her, right? And then my grandmother, she's a 2-time breast cancer survivor, right? So, you're noticing like this cancer is keep, reoccurring. So I was like, if I can, not if I can, but when I am able to heal myself of this, I know that the things or the people, the places, the ideas that I birth, whether it be physically or, that I come in contact with and become connected to, I know that they will not have to experience cancer any longer. Like it's done with me. Like I'm the last bit. And I took on that mantle before I came here and I was like, I can do it. I'm gonna do it. And that's what we're doing. So that's the foundational thing that keeps me pushing. Just recently, last month, EyeRmbr got invited to host a tea-bar, service a tea-bar at a wedding.
Awesome.
And that was the first time I actually got to involve my family outside of my mom, who's amazing. Shout out Reginé. She's been down since day one.
Yes.
But this was the first time I involved my younger cousin, who is 15. And her mom, my cousin as well. And just to be able to, I took a step back and I looked at the time lapse and I was just like, wow, like I'm really involving my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're asking questions now about plant medicine, so I'm like, this is beyond me. This isn't just about, it's not a stream of just a source of income, right? This is really what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping my family to heal. Now their healing journey is their own. I'm not trying to fix now. I'm just the aid.
She's like, if you come, we can work together.
Support.
But I can't force you.
No, you got to do the work, honey. You got to do the work. So my family and that spiritual tie and connection is what really, really keeps me going, keeps me motivated. And real talk, like last night, y'all, I just cried praying because I was just like, wow, like just as far as the progression of the health of my family, my aunt, my friends, myself, my mom, my granny, it's like, wow, God, like you did your big one. You still doing your big one, but it's just like, I'm just in awe of it.
So friends, if you're not back there shedding tears, did you even watch the episode? Like, what were you doing? Okay. I hope you tuned in for the entire breadth of today's conversation because it's been so impactful. And I want, Regine, you to leave us with your Vendmae tip of the day. Something that you wish you knew before you started, what you're learning, or something that you think will apply in the future to our burgeoning entrepreneurs.
Okay, well, my Vendmae tip of the day is you have all the tools you need to succeed in this moment. whatever you are experiencing, no matter the circumstances, people, places, or things, the events that have led up to that moment have prepared you for it. So show up as your full, whole self. Don't hold anything back, your authentic self, and people will appreciate you. They will love you. The right people will appreciate you and love you, and that's all you're gonna need.
Bars. Okay, bars. Mic drop. Now, what the people have been waiting for. We've heard all about their teas, the tinctures, and the forthcoming classes, okay?
Yes.
So we have something special for all of our brand builders who went through this entire conversation with us, and it's something that Regine is gonna bless you with our coupon code. So Regine, tell them what they get since they've gotten to the end of the episode.
Thanks for staying, first and foremost. All right, thanks for being here. But as Grace said, your secret coupon code, are you ready? Are you ready to get down? It's going to be a good one. T-E-A. T-E-A. Because we didn't sip all this tea, okay?
I like that.
Threw the shade, okay? We didn't did all of it, so it's just
it.
tea, real simple. Keeping it simple, too. Because we talked about that earlier, too.
Right. Simplify the messaging.
Yeah.
So make sure you head over to
EyeRmbr.com. That's EyeRmbr.com. And when you use that code T, you'll get a special discount.
There's a surprise there, and you're only gonna know what it is when you actually go. So, brand builders, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Regine, I wanna thank you for walking with not only me, but the rest of our brand builders through the proverbial entrepreneurial jungle, okay? And you know how we do. We always let our guards down, serve truth up, while standing on business, the good, the bad, and the better. So as always, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We will see you next time. Bye, brand builders.